Good morning, students. Today we are going to read break-even analysis through a case study that will make your concepts more clear and will make you able to handle the paper very nicely. So concentrate yourself. This is very important topic. We are going to start now. Businesses have to decide how much to produce. Nearly all businesses need at least to break even in order to survive. One way in which businesses can plan is to draw up budgets. Once a draft budget is drawn up, the business must decide whether or not it is going to change its plan because of what the budget shows. Another way is for business to calculate the break-even point of the production. Will sales level be high enough for the business to cover its cost and make a profit? Claire Peakman is planning her spending. Her dad, Roger, is doing the same. He's setting up a business importing lamps and estimating whether or not it will make a profit. They are doing this on budget day. The day when the chancellor of the executive, the person responsible for the government's finances, is announcing the government's tax and spending plans for the year. They are all calculating a budget. A budget is a forecast of what that might happen. The table shows Claire Peakman's budget. She gets £50 a month from her parents and earns £50 a month from a part-time job. So look here, this is the income. Allowances is £50, job is £50. Her monthly income is therefore £100. So this makes total £100. She plans to spend it on clothes, food, and going out. She hopes to have £10 left over to save. And the spending is clothes. She's estimating to spend almost £45, food £10, going out £35, and saving will be £10 that make up 100. So this is the budget for the Claire Peakman's monthly. The budget shows in table for Peakman's lighting is more complex. This is the budget of her father. Roger Peakman fell in love with a particular lamp design he found when on holiday in Russia. He thought it was unusual enough to stand out in UK market, but at the same time, the design would fit into a typical UK home. Roger forecast that he will be able to sell 5,000 lamps in his first year at £15 each. This will give his business a total sales turnover of £75,000. 15 multiplied by 5,000 will be equal to £75,000. So this is the budget for Peakman lighting. Sales is 75,000, which he is expecting. Lamps, 5,000 is coming from the Russia at the cost of £10 per piece. Wages is expected to be 10,000. Travel cost 4,000, advertising 2,000, warehousing 1,000, loan repayment 1,000, and other cost 2,000. This will make 70,000. So he is expecting a profit of £5,000 in the first year, and the details will be here. Out of that, he has various costs to pay. The Russian firm supplying the lamps is charging £10 per lamp, including transport to the UK. So the charge for the lamp 5,000 is actually importing. So 10 into 5,000 will be equal to £50,000. Roger plans to pay himself £10,000 working full-time on the business. Initially, he will spend much of his time visiting lighting and furniture shops selling the lamps to pay. So, look at the budget again. 10 into 5,000 will be 50,000. He's paying himself £10,000 as a salary, as a wage, because he's working as a full-time worker. Now, traveling cost, which is going to be read now. Hence, he needs a car and travel expenses. The cost of this he estimates will be 4,000. He plans to spend 2,000 on advertising. So advertising costs are 2,000. Look at the budget again. Advertising 2,000. He will start with specialist trade journals for lighting industry. Stocks of the lamps need to be stored. Roger did not want to keep stock in a cheap lockup garage because the insurance costs were so high. He also did not want his business to have no stock to sell if it was stolen. But the cost of arranging secure warehousing, including insurance of 1,000. So look at now, warehousing 1,000. Roger also needed to borrow money from the bank to finance various startup costs of the business, such as buying a second-hand estate car. He kept these costs to minimum, but the repayment on the loan were 1,000 a year. So look at the budget again. This is loan repayment 1,000. Other costs including telephone charges, stationery, and some secretarial assistance. These he estimated would come to 2,000. So it means other costs are 2,000. So these are the total costs which make up 70,000. And if he is right in his calculation, he will make £5,000 profit in the first year. The budget shows that the estimated profit for the year is 5,000. Okay, now we are going to read the uncertainty in making a budget. A budget is only a forecast. Many things can happen which could make the actual outturn different from what was budgeted. Examples are, Roger may find that he does not sell 5,000 lamps a year. His Russian supplier may put up the price so costs rise. The Chancellor of the Exchequer may put up the tax on the petrol, making his motoring expenses higher than the forecast. Roger may decide halfway through the year not to spend so much on the advertising. The exchange rate of the pound against the ruble, the Russian currency, may rise, making the price in pounds sterling of the lamps cheaper. So these are some factors which can change the budgeted amounts. However, budgets are vital for a business because they help it to plan its finances. If Roger Peakman had produced a budget which showed that he would make a £10,000 loss instead of 5,000 profit, he would have had to consider whether to go ahead with starting up the business. Would the loss have been just for the first year? The budget would have helped him decide whether there was any chance of making a profit in the long term. Okay, next we are going to read a very important topic for a business, that is break-even. Roger Peakman had forecast a profit of 5,000 in the first year. However, the actual point may be less than this if he sells fewer lamps on his cost or his costs are higher. We want to know at what point he would just break even. The break even point is the one where he would neither make a profit or a loss. He is going to use the figures in his draft budget in the table as a basis for his projections. The simplest break even calculation involves total revenues, total fixed costs, and total variable costs. So three things are required for making a break-even calculation. That is total revenue, total fixed cost, and total variable cost. Now we are going to read one by one these things. Total revenue. Total revenue can be calculated by multiplying average revenue and the quantity sold. The average revenue in this case is the price of the lamp, that is 15. Our total revenue rises as the number of the lamps sold rises. For example, at 2000 sales, it is 30,000 because 15 pound is the sale price of one article. If 2000 articles are sold, so 15 into 2000 will make 30,000. At 3000, it will make 45,000. At 4000 sales, it will make 60,000 pounds revenue. So here is the sale, for example. At 2000, total revenue will be 30,000. At 3000 sales, total revenue will be 45,000 pounds and up to so on. Total fixed cost is the same, that is 20,000, which he has to pay in all circumstances. Either the sales are greater or lesser. So total variable cost, that is 10 multiplied by quantity sold, because 10 pound is the cost of per article of lamp. So 10 into 2000 will make 20,000. 10 into 3000 will make 30,000. 10 into 4000 make 40,000 and up to so on. And total cost will be equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. So this fixed cost and variable cost will make the total cost. Total cost. 20 plus 20,000 will be equal to 40,000. 20,000 plus 30,000 will be equal to 50,000 and up to so on. Adding these two values will make the total cost. Okay, and now profit or loss will be find it out by, here is the total revenue and here is the total cost. So total cost is 40,000 and total revenue is 30,000 on the sale of 2,000 articles. So a loss will be 10,000. But when sales is 3,000 articles, total revenue is 45,000 and total cost is 50,000. Loss will be 5,000. When 4,000 articles are sold, total revenue is 60,000 and total cost is also 60,000. So a break-even point is reached. But when 5,000 articles are sold, total revenue is 75,000. Total sale is 70,000. A profit of 5,000 will be made. And when 6,000 articles will be sold, total revenue will be 90,000. Total cost will be 80,000. A profit of 10,000 pounds will be made. So now, total variable cost. The only variable cost for peak pen lighting is the cost of buying the lamps from the Russian supplier. This is 10 pounds per lamp. So if he sells 2,000 lamps, the total variable cost would be 2,000 into 10 equal to 20,000 pounds. Selling 3,000 lamps would give a variable cost of 3,000 into 10 equal to 30,000 pounds. Total fixed cost. All his other costs are fixed. They do not vary whether he sells 20,000 or 60,000 lamps. So the total fixed costs are 20,000. Table shows that break-even point where total cost equal total revenue is at 4,000 sales per year. If sales are more than this, he will make a profit. If they are below this level, he will make a loss. And finally, we are going to read the break-even chart. The information in the table can be shown on the graph called a break-even chart. In figure, the total revenue line starts at 0 because with no sales, there is no revenue. It rises as every extra sale bringing in an extra 15 pounds of the revenue. And here is the break-even chart. Fixed cost line will be same at the horizontal level because that will not change either the Roger is making some sales or not. And the total revenue line will start from 0 because when sale is 0, revenue will be 0 and that will make upward with the sales. And total cost will start from the beginning point of the fixed cost because total cost is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. So it means when no article is sold, the least possible cost will be equal to the will be equal to the fixed cost, and that will go upward according to the sales. And where total revenue and total cost lines cut each other, that point is actually break-even point. And this is the point from the graph, that is 4,000 articles. When Roger sells 4,000 articles, he will gain the point of the no profit, no loss point. And from here, this is the point. That is 60,000 pounds. So 60,000 pounds or 4,000 articles is the break-even point. The total cost line does not start at 0. This is because whatever the number of the sales, there will always be a fixed cost of 20,000. The total fixed cost line is therefore a straight horizontal line across the chart. However, total variable cost does not increase as sales increase. It is equal to the distance between the total cost line and total fixed cost line. In this case, it is equal to the total cost minus 20,000. The break-even point is where the total cost and total revenue lines cross. This is at a sales level of 4,000 and at a total cost and revenue level of the 60,000 pounds. To the right of the point, Peakman Lighting will make a profit, while to the left it will make a loss. The number of the actual sales above the break-even point is known as the margin of safety. So from the graph, this portion is called above the crossing point. This portion is called margin of safety, and this is the loss area. It is the range of the output over which a profit can be made. Using a break-even chart. Break-even chart can be constructed to show the break-even point on past production. This gives a guide to what the current break-even point might be. However, Roger Peakman was using break-even analysis to forecast profit. Any forecast is more than likely to be wrong because the figures on which the forecast is based will change in reality. For Roger Peakman, the forecast was very important. It allowed him to see what the risk he was taking in setting up the business. As the first year went by, he had a good understanding of how he was doing and whether or not he was heading for a profit or a loss. The bank manager who gave him the loan also wanted to see Roger Peakman's business plan. This includes the break-even forecast, The bank manager used it to discuss whether he would be likely to meet the sales target needed to break even. Some key terms are here. Break even is the point where revenues equal cost. Break-even chart. A graph shows total cost, total revenues, and the break-even point where total revenues equal total cost. A budget. A forecast of the income and expenditures over a period of time, like a week or a year. And the margin of safety. The quantity sold above the break-even point where the business makes a profit. And finally, students, I have made some questions for you people from the lecture. Try to solve these questions with the help of the lecture. These questions will help you a lot in handling the paper. So here are the questions. So this is the lecture. Read it again very carefully and make your notes. Thank you so much.